Hi guys, it's been a while since I made another video. Today is August 17th, 2020, and a lot has really changed. It's to the point where I don't believe a single poll that I see, because speaking of things like Trump's not going up in the last few polls in Texas and Georgia, but yet there was a poll that showed Biden starting to go down in California and Trump going up in California from a Democratic polling firm. And then it suddenly abruptly changed. And I looked at it this morning, but the other day it was going really bad for Trump. Really good for Trump, really bad for Biden. And that is like, people might think you're crazy for saying that about California, but Trump's saying he's going to win in California and New York. I don't think it's out of the realm. Another reason why I don't believe the polls, is because if Biden wasn't worried about this election, why is he campaigning up here? You'd think he would be campaigning in Texas more, Georgia more, Arizona more, because those states are shifting, but why is he so worried about up here in these swing states if the election is so much in his favor? So actually, I'm going to go off with the safe states this election. And then we'll go from there and analyze all the swing states. So we have 132 safe for Republicans. California, it's still safe. I don't care what anybody says, it's still safe. Washington's safe. I'm going to hold off on Oregon. New York, obviously the Northeast. It's Biden territory. He's going to win. You have Trump going to New Hampshire too, as well as Nevada, which very few people believe that he's going to win because of trends here. But if you look at the last few election cycles, this part of the country, except for Arizona and Texas, have trended red slightly every election. And that's excluding the Bush election of 2004 and 2008. So 175 to 132 is the current total as it stands. Now I want to go back over to Arizona. Arizona, it's looking more and more like Trump is going to end up actually carrying the state. As you can see, the polls here show Biden going way down. Trump is on an incline going way up. So I think at the end of the day, we can give Arizona to Donald Trump. Now, I want to go up to Oregon. And I'm right now using an actual Democrat polling form. Oregon, they say it's safe, but yet they don't have any data backing it up. They've changed nothing. And it appears for the last few elections that the Democrats seem to be getting maxed out in Oregon, because they're staying right just above 50. Every single election. Like if I go to the Hillary versus Trump 2016 Oregon. See, just barely over 50. Like Trump's within 10 just a little over 10-point margin of victory for Hillary. And that's because of just these few counties. But if he can make up the turnout in these other counties, turn them more red, maybe flip a few other counties, Trump could very well carry the state of Oregon. And I mean, the suburbs of Portland, all of those areas, they could be very fearful. And Oregon is a state that's definitely in play in 2020, but I'm going to give it a likely probably about 6 to 7 points for the Democrats. Because remember, they were all like, "Oh, this is all peaceful protests." No. How can burning cities to the ground be peaceful? It's just people are gonna fear that, and fearing it is not gonna win you an election anymore. It's to the point where fear and instaking fear cannot win an election. Now I want to go to the state of Texas. Yeah, they have Biden 1 point from victory when it was won in 2012 for Romney by 16 points, even though turnout was down. 2008, it was won by 10 points. 2016, it was won by about 9 or 10. And that was when turnout was higher than expected. So, this election, I don't see the turnout being as well as Biden's lack of Latino support. It's just not going to help him. So I say Texas is lean, if not likely. So now we have it 181 to 182. Now Nevada. Nevada was won by 2. Now they're saying by 4. But if you see, there's a little edge here that Trump has grown slightly more than Biden with his performance there in the state. He just totally put it out of the water. So, I mean, there's concern there for his campaign, but it's stayed relatively the same. So, for now, I'm just going to end up tilting the state of Nevada into his column. But I expect that to possibly change in the future. Arkansas, like a lot of these polls, I do not believe. Like Tennessee, 9-point victory. Missouri voted more right than Mississippi did in 2016. But yet they have Mississippi as safe and Missouri as lean. That doesn't make sense to me. Montana, they have Trump won that state by 20%. Now they have him winning by 7. And Montana is very, very white. It's a very white state. They're not going to vote. I don't think they'll vote for Biden. I don't see it. So I still think Montana is going to be safe. Iowa, they say barely Republican, but that one, it's just trended so much. Like, if Biden can't win Iowa, he's in trouble. Really big trouble. And I have it safe because he won it by 9, and it's becoming less unionized of a state. So it's still 188 to 181. And now I want to go to... We're going to head back out west to New Mexico. New Mexico, Clinton won it by 8. And a state that's shifting to the right slightly, I don't think... As well as Biden's lack with Latino support, I don't see him pulling a 15-point victory in New Mexico. Nor do I see him pulling 10 points ahead in Colorado. Because look at how close it was in 2016. I mean, Trump has more Latino support by far now than he did in 2016. Like, I wouldn't even doubt if Nevada, Colorado, and New Mexico were to flip and Arizona stayed the same. I wouldn't doubt that for 1 second. So at the end of the day, I'm going to put Colorado in the lean column and New Mexico in the I'll say likely column. Now we're going to go to the southeast. So we have Georgia. You see how much Biden went down? Trump staying stagnant. It seems like whenever Biden just decides to start going campaigning more, it does not work well for him. So maybe that's why he's not coming out of his house. So you see the graph, it's going down, and then you have Trump staying stagnant. So I believe that Georgia, as it is right now, will end up tilting for Trump in 2020. Now, if I go to the state of Florida, Trump won it by 1 last time. It's now his home state. And I think Florida, I don't see it voting for Biden. I just don't see it. Like, the polls here even show that McCain did better than what that is. John McCain. So I would say that this poll makes no sense, and Florida is going to tilt. It just doesn't make sense. Trump expected to win by under 1 at the minimum. Now, if I go to North Carolina, Romney won it by 3, Trump won it by 3, Obama by 1. So, I mean, it is possible, but North Carolina could very well be a more conservative state than even Texas at this point, due to trends and all of that. So, North Carolina, I'm going to give it a tilt. So now we have 241 to 202. Now, Virginia, Clinton won it by 5. That was with a running mate from Virginia. And Virginia, it just, I don't know. I don't trust a poll that has Biden up by 12. I would say at a minimum, it would be, this is probably, it's going to be under 5 percentage points for Biden. Now Ohio, Trump won it by 8 last time around, almost by the same margins of Texas. And Ohio is another state that's becoming less unionized. And Biden has union support, but it's becoming less unionized. So I would say it is going to be a likely, if not lean, to Trump. Pennsylvania, it's Biden's home state. Trump won it by 1. He could win Michigan by more. So I'm going to say that Michigan and Pennsylvania are going to be tilt. And Wisconsin, Trump won it by 1. There was a huge third-party vote in Wisconsin last election. That's what pushed him over the top here. But I think because I live in this state, I know this state very well. With the Kenosha and everything like that, I just don't see how Trump loses Wisconsin. I don't see it. Plus, every time when I'm on the road, I see 3 times as many Trump signs as I see Biden signs. So I think in the long run, Wisconsin is going to tilt to Trump. So now we have 269 to 251. Minnesota, Trump lost it by 1 last time around. They it's getting a lot closer in recent years. Bush got it within 3 in 2004. In 2000, it was by 2. So Minnesota has gotten to be a lot closer of a state. And Trump is starting to pour funds into Minnesota like crazy. I honestly think it is possible for him to win it by like 0.1 or 0.2 percentage points. He will be probably the apparent winner in Minnesota. Now, if I go to New Hampshire, it's barely Democratic. But that one I can actually see and agree with. But I just want to take a look at the polling data. Yeah, Biden is not doing well in New Hampshire. And let's go back to Minnesota. Based on this, I'm gonna retract my call in Minnesota. And I'm gonna tilt it to Biden because of his recent up poll while Trump is going down. Now, New Hampshire, it's a different story. I'm actually going to put this in the tilt for Trump's column. And I think that because, like we saw here, Biden's going down, Trump's staying stagnant pretty much. And Maine, I want to go to Maine and look at the district. This will give me an idea of what to expect for the districts. Maine is going to be a tough one to call, but usually when Republicans win Maine, the whole election, the Maine's 2nd congressional district always goes to them. So I'm going to give Trump a slight tilt of a lead there. And I'm going to give Biden a safe here and a likely in Maine at large. Because he is doing very well in the state. He's winning it by wide margins, almost California margins, which is insane that they have him in almost a toss-up state winning that well. So there you have it, 274 to 264, Trump wins the election. And that's assuming with everything being where it is today, and that's based off of a Democratic polling firm. Now, what do I think is Trump's best case scenario? Trump's best case scenario is going to be winning Texas safe. Winning all of these safe. Arizona would be likely. Louisiana, safe. Likely, safe. Likely. Keep in mind that this is the best scenario I expect Trump to do. And Florida would be by about 3. Virginia, I'm going to put as a tilt. New Mexico, lean. Colorado, tilt. Nevada, lean. Oregon, I would say it could very well be in play. Trump could flip Oregon. Just because of all of the craziness going out on there, that it's very insane in Oregon right now. Oregon is a state that's starting to trend right. And Democrats have been maxed out there for a while. So if Trump campaigns in Oregon, he could very well tilt the state in his favor. If he campaigns in the Northwest, Washington could become likely, whereas California is always going to be safe. Obviously. Alaska, safe. Illinois, no, definitely not. Illinois is probably at most likely. New York, safe. Maryland is safe. Delaware is going to be safe because it's Biden's home state. DC, New Jersey, likely. Connecticut, likely. Rhode Island, I'll give it likely. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because it's his best scenario. New Hampshire would go lean to him. Maine's second would be safe. Maine at large would be tilt. Well, actually, I'll give it likely. And then this would be lean for, or likely for, well, yeah, likely. Likely for Biden. So you have, with this map, Trump's best case scenario, he pulls off 362 to 176. Now, Biden's best case scenario would be to go after, he would win all of these states safe. Okay, so we have the safe states, so he's already at 240 and one likely, so it'd be 230 safe for Joe Biden. Well, plus Maine, I believe he would tilt that, and I believe he would tilt or lean that. He could even, no, not that district. Could even make this district a likely for Trump. Michigan could become safe Biden, or likely, yeah, likely. Wisconsin could be lean. Iowa could tilt. Ohio could lean. North Carolina lean. Georgia lean. Florida lean. Texas could tilt. Arizona likely, and Nevada likely. And then Kansas and move likely. South Carolina likely. Missouri likely. Mississippi likely. Montana likely. And Indiana likely. Well, actually, we'll put South Carolina lean. And then Joe Biden could tilt New Hampshire. I do not expect either of those two scenarios to come, but I do expect Trump to win, as earlier noted, with 274 to 264 electoral votes. So, thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned. I should have another video up soon. Have a good day.